What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So I just got done watching the first pilot episode of Inhumans. I know it's split in, it's technically two, but it's one big long episode. And it is a very I don't think it's as bad as all the critics were saying. Like, it's tolerable, but for what they were working with, like the stories and the characters and all that they're working with, it is very meh. Like, for me, I kind of like Agents of Shield. Like, I watch it. It's somewhat enjoyable to watch. Like, it has a lot of problems, but it's okay. Like, it has some decent things that happen. I think it's worse than Agents of Shield. I really do. This is definitely like the weakest TV show that Marvel's done. Like, through all their things, especially live action shows. I feel like watching this is like showing up to a movie late and being halfway through it and not understanding what's happening. Like, I know a little bit about Inhumans, right? Like, with Agents and Shields and that, I got kind of interested in the Inhumans stuff, obviously with Daisy and all that. And, Black Bolt and Medusa and, all those guys. I know certain things, but I don't know the real nitty-gritty stuff. Like, I know the basics, right? But even me, I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, this is happening fast. Like, there was no Maximus just it's all from the very beginning, he's like, I'm gonna overthrow you. Like, it's very, very fast, and there's no build up to it. There's no creating a character or showing, who he is and understanding where he's coming from, as he's a kid or all the rest of it. Like, they talk about it. He says oh yeah, we were the bad kids that, we start, me and Medusa, we go off and get into trouble and all the rest of it. It'd been nice to seen that. It would have been nice to seen that, just a bit, just to understand where these characters come from, and, when he does overthrow everyone, it doesn't have that much of an impact. 'Cause you're like, oh, okay. You're just going to do this now? It's sort of like just, Ramsay Bolton taking over another, place. Like, he's another bad guy. It just didn't seem like it was just not well set out. I feel like this really needed an episode before these two that happened, right? An episode that showed who the Inhumans are. What are they? The Kree, and how they were an experiment and they got left and they were like a failed experiment, abandoned. They were created to be weapons. That was the whole thing. Where's this? You get no mention of Kree at the very beginning, so you don't know what's happening. You just have this weird green dude protecting a cat, like Cat Lady. No one you just don't understand what's going on. And then why are they on the moon? Like, how'd they get there? Why are these humans there? How does this society work? You must have, something going on. Why are there, the people that don't have powers get put into tunnels? Like, all this stuff kind of needs to be explained. And then you need to go into characters and, stuff like that. Like, why does Black Bolt not talk? Why is he so dangerous when, his power is so dangerous? And I mean, they did show, a scene of him kind of evaporating his parents. By the way, I kind of cracked up in that scene because it was just really weird and awkward. It was so him just standing there going, why? And his parents just go, poof. I was just like, okay. That's just, I cracked up. It was weird. It was weird. And, that way you understand who Black Bolt is when you get to the point of him being the king. Like, you understand that. And how Medusa met the king. And Medusa and Crystal's parents, they were revolutionaries going up against the royalty and all that. Where's all that stuff? All this needed to be kind of explained so you know where these characters sit before all this stuff happens. Because all the stuff that happens, it has no meaning because there's no backstory to it. Unless you go and look for it, which should not be the case. For me, though, I feel like they did this because of the IMAX stuff. They showed this off in an IMAX theater, and it did not go down well. It did not go down well. And, for me, it's like, well, I think you tried to give us this big action-packed opening episode because you wanted to show it off on an IMAX screen. And a prologue episode would not have gone down well with someone sitting in the cinema. So I think that's what really played the problem. It's plagued Inhumans is the whole IMAX. I'm going to be on the IMAX cinema. I'm going to merge cinema and TV shows together, sort of thing. It's like, no, you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that. And I think it hurt the show, to be honest. It really did. Right. So overall, like the whole story-wise and stuff, it's okay. It was very predictable. You knew that, Maximus was going to overthrow everyone. A lot of it was just like, meh, it was alright. Like, it wasn't a well thought out story, to be honest. It was just, has a lot of loopholes. Again, like, a prologue would have helped with a lot of it. The characters, I think if you understand who Black Bolt is and what Black Bolt, how he can't speak and he has to really sort of like, he's very stern and he's very that stoic leader, but he's silent. So he's got that kind of it's interesting to have a leader that can't speak. That's definitely, it's always been a unique part of Inhumans. And I quite liked him. I quite liked Black Bolt. He had that, kind of look to him that, that stoic look, and I liked it. I liked him. But, I think because no one really explained his backstory, what he is, what his family is, why is his power so dangerous? He was locked up, when they found out what his power was and how he killed his parents with it, by accident. He got locked up in that room, and like there was only a very brief moment where you get told what that is. Again, just not putting in the work on developing characters. That's a big problem. That's a big, big problem. Medusa, same problem. Same problem. You don't know where she's coming from. You just know that she's Black Bolt's wife, and she can do weird stuff with her hair. That was really it. And it was like, she has a connection with Maximus, but she just, like, you don't know it. You don't know it because you never got told. It's just Maximus hitting on her and then her just basically doing a really cool thing with her hair. Like, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the whole hair thing. Like, it looks a bit weird. Like, her and Crystal just looked a bit off, but she was okay. She was okay, but very stiff in places. Her fight scene with Uran, I think it's Uran. Yeah, I'm sorry if I get that name wrong. Wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. Like, for a show that's got, I think, a decent budget, like, Marvel shows have always done fight scenes quite well. Like, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they do decent fight scenes. Especially, like, when they've been working with, like, Ghost Rider, and now, obviously, with Quake and all that. Like, they do decent fight scenes. And not to mention that Agents has Ming-Na Wen on it as well. So she's just dominates. She's, whenever Melinda May's on a scene, doing badass fight stuff, she carries that immensely. But this was just, it was just bad. It was just bad. It was just slow motion, like, it was just, and then like the whole stabbing thing. It was just, yeah, it was really stupid. And, you basically took the most defining factor from Medusa away when you shaved her head. I get why he did it, but for show-wise and for her character, you just took her defining ability away from her. The coolest part of Medusa's gone. I don't know for how long, but it's gone. So it takes her power away, which is stupid. Like, this show is all about powers. These Inhumans with powers and the difference between humans and Inhumans. That was the whole point of it. And you took her power away. I just don't see the point in it. Maximus himself, again, you just don't know the core defining reason why he's doing this. Because just because, oh, I want to be king is not a good enough reason. Why are you doing it? Like, you're his brother. I know you want to go back to Earth, but to basically just do the things you're doing, you need a solid damn reason. It was just not all that good. And I thought it just seemed like Ramsay Bolton just on the moon causing havoc. It just he didn't seem all that impressive to me. The stuff he was doing was somewhat interesting, and but I don't know. He just, I think if they bring in his backstory, which is that he does have powers and that he has sort of mind control type powers, if they had hinted at that stuff, then that would be a good thing. Because it's like, well, how did you convince the royal guards to sign with you? How did you convince Orin to side with you? There's no reason why they're doing this. There's no reason why the royal guard would side with him and not the king. That's the problem, especially when Gorgon is the cousin of the king. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. So this is the problem. The defining thing of this episode, which is the rebellion, has no meaning and has no sense. And that's what affects Maximus as being the bad guy. And then you had Karnak. Karnak, very stiff. His ability, somewhat cool. Like, he can sort of like, he's a great strategist. He can do these like, predictive things where he can like see if he does this, if that will work. No. And then he sort of can, learn from that. When he fell down that cliff, I thought it was just like him going, oh, I better not step there, and then it would go back him up to being the top and he'd be fine. It was his powers that would save him. But no, he just fell down the cliff. And now I think he has a concussion, which messes with his power. It's like, great. Your defining trait is now on the fritz. Awesome. But he was very, average. It wasn't all that interesting. Gorgon, apart from doing a very stupid thing, which is stepping on a rover, like you're trying to stay hidden, but you go up there and you stand on a rover and let someone see you. Not a smart thing, pal. I know you're meant to be, the big defender, like the big soldier dude and all the rest of it. You're all about fighting. But come on. Like that's just, a society that's trying to stay hidden would not do that. And then like the rest of it was just him sort of like hanging out with some surfer dudes in Hawaii. That was really it. And those surfer guys were like, we don't give a shit that you have hoofs. Earth's seen some weird shit. Hoof guy, not an issue. Not an issue. It's nothing. Crystal was barely there. Like, she had like, all she was really there for was Lockjaw. And I think everyone's sort of favorite character at the moment is Lockjaw. Everyone loves Lockjaw, and that's it. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That's like he has, Lockjaw, being that he's a very cute dog, giant cute dog that can teleport. If he's your, favorite, the most defining character out of all of them, that's not a good thing for your series. Like, all this acting and money that you're paying to actors, and the cheap CGI dog is the best thing coming out of it. That's not a good thing. But Crystal, I felt like, you saw a very small glimpse of her powers, and that's it. Like, this girl can fly. She has like control over a lot of the elements and stuff, and she's very powerful. She's actually quite powerful, and you see like none of it. You see none of it, and she seems like they're trying to play her as a bit of a, the little sister. Doesn't really understand what's happening. She's trying to be strong and all the rest of it with Maximus, but Maximus kind of getting in her head and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop her character. I want her to be cool. I do. I want her to be cool, because one of my sort of favorite heroes that's not really well known is the Black Knight. It's Black Knight, eh? Yeah, Black Knight. One of my favorite sort of, not well-known heroes is the Black Knight, and her and Dane have this thing. So I kind of want her to be good, but I don't know. I don't know if she will. And then obviously we had Triton at the start, just weird green guy with a cat lady. That was really it, and he sort of started it all off. So yeah, so just overall, like, the acting, pretty average. I think a lot of it was, you just don't understand what's going on with these characters, and that's a problem. That's a big ass problem. And I think just an episode where you're explaining who these characters are, where they come from, all the rest of it would have helped a lot. It would have helped a lot. Everyone kind of understands that the first episode of a brand new show is about telling who the characters are. It's going to be a little bit of, just showing off the world and going through all the characters, explaining backstories and stuff. Like, we understand that. Let it happen, because it helps. It helps us, connect with these characters, and there's no connection to these characters whatsoever. There's none. I hope they can turn it around. And I kind of hope also that they connect it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are obviously going through this Inhumans thing, and they just got saved by Disney, so they're looking to, sort of keep Agents going. Connecting these two together might help a bit, because I don't think Inhumans can survive by itself. I can't. They can't make this an isolated story. This has to connect with the main Marvel universe. And Agents has a somewhat connection, like they always deal with the aftermath of all the movies and stuff. If this connects in together, and like you have either Daisy coming over, or, they interact with each other's shows, I think it will help. It will help, because then the backstory of Agents with the whole Inhuman stuff going on helps give some, perspective to the Inhumans storyline as well. Of, the King sitting Triton down to, get these Inhumans out, with the water supply getting infected with the Terrigen, Terrigen crystals and all that. So they need to do it. They need to connect it, because I think it will help both. It really will. It will help both. Also, another problem where I had was the Terrigenesis scene, where the two, it's sort of like a coming of age ceremony where they're showing like how these Inhumans get their powers, and how they put the crystals into the chambers and stuff. I was expecting something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they go into like the stone cocoon and all that. And for me, like, Agents did it far better than this. Like, in this, they go into a chamber, the chamber fills up with mist, the mist comes back down, they step out, and the girl has butterfly wings. There was nothing else to it. Like, I felt like, when Daisy transformed and become Quake in Agents, that was epic shit. That was epic. That was big. And that become a defining thing with the Inhumans, at least for the Earth Inhumans, was that the cocoon became a thing. This one, it's just like, oh, they just had the mist and then they became that. I just don't understand. It was just very meh. It was very meh. I felt like it was a bit of a waste of a scene, and a waste where they could have connected Agents and Inhumans together. So it's just another scene that kind of let me down. I think just overall, it's just a show. I hope the show gets better. Like, it's because Inhumans is a good story. It's a good story. It's got good characters and stuff. But they need to put the effort into showing like who these characters are, man, and stop taking their powers away. Like that, seriously, stop taking their powers away. Because, when you're creating a show about like these humans that are defined by the fact that they have superpowers, and you take those superpowers away, it suddenly becomes a kind of a boring show. It becomes boring. So hopefully they can get us all back on track, because God, it needs to pick itself up off the ground and shake itself off and start showing us something real quick, or else they could be in some real trouble here. And Marvel might have a flop. Marvel might have a real flop on its hands if it can't pull this out and actually make it a decent show. It's happened before, where shows have bad starts and they come back. Like, for me, The Orville's doing the same thing. It had a bit of a bad start, sold itself as a comedy. Now that it's moving a bit more towards a cool sci-fi show, far better, and it's finding a far better balance. Hopefully, this will do the same, and it can come back from a bad start and actually turn into a somewhat decent show. If it could get on the level of Agents, which is like not a high bar to set, then we might be okay. But there are far better Marvel shows out there. And, another one coming up, Gifted, that's another one that I'm keeping an eye on as well. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how everything sorts out and how this goes. Because it needs help. But yeah, disappointing. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.